Hi guys, welcome to Darren's Travelling Corner, and today you've just joined me in Portsmouth. Now you're probably thinking to yourselves, but Darren, it's Saturday, what on earth are you doing up and about at 5 o'clock in the morning? Well, what we're doing today is we're going to be replicating the Portsmouth to Brighton route, but this time we're going to do it with no Coastliner buses. So, in an earlier video, you would have seen me trace the outlines of each of the areas that the Coastline buses run through. So you've seen the boundary stops of Portsmouth, Havant, Southampton ultimately, Chichester, Bognor Regis, Littlehampton, Worthing and Brighton. But I'm going to do the same again today, but no Coastliner buses. So in this case, not only does it keep the challenge fresh, but also it allows you then to see it in a different route, to see it in a completely different way. And we get to go on some new bus routes. I'm waiting for a 725. It's not due until 25 minutes to 6, mind you, but I had to get that, so I just got off at 23 from my way, and I had to get that one because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to get the 725, which is critical that I was able to get this one, because it means that I can go straight to Chichester and completely skip out Havant to go straight along the bypass. 700 does that as well, but that comes off at Havant. The 725 just goes straight to Chichester. Does a little bit extra around the Portsmouth area, mind you, but that would be something that you will get to see eventually. Well, join me back in a bit as I'm on the back of the 725, making my way towards Chichester, and I'll explain more of this challenge in greater detail. See you in a bit, guys. Welcome back, guys. You just joined me at the front of the 725, and the first time I've been on one of these, and quite rightly so, because this is the only bus that goes, this is the only bus in the day that goes to Barfoots farm. Something tells me this is a workman's bus.
Cambridge Junction.
Because of that. But I do often find myself wondering though how many stops this bus actually serves. But we're also going along some different routes, so we're doing something extra around Portsmouth, and then after we get to Hilsey Lido, we'll just
University of Portsmouth.
Go straight to, we'll just go straight across the motorway to Chichester. But we will come up, as we come up to Hilsey Lido, I will do another filming of that, so then you get to see what else happens. Because for the 700, Hilsey Lido is the Portsmouth ticket zone boundary stop. And then following that, what I've just mentioned earlier, you've also got then the 725. It's not only Portsmouth's boundary stop, but it's also Southampton's, and you'll see why. Well, I'll explain more as well. I mean, I know
to Barfoots farm.
I know I said it earlier, but yeah, I just want to give you the chance to see it for yourself as well. But join me back in a bit as I take you up to two bus stops leading up to Hilsey Lido. See you in a bit, guys. And welcome back, guys. You just joined me now in Hilsey, and just as a reminder as to what's going on, we're just making our way up to Hilsey Crescent, because we're just leaving the route where the 20 would normally go on its way back into Havant, and that bus stop is closed at the moment because it's being upgraded, as it were. But this is the one you need to make note of when it comes up.
Next stop, Coastliner.
Oh, it's not saying anything this time. But this is the Portsmouth ticket zone boundary stop for the 700. It's also the Southants ticket zone boundary stop for the 725. Unless it's going to say something.
To Barfoots Farm.
Unless, of course, it's going to do something else. But yeah, it's definitely Portsmouth boundary stop. But this is where we start going towards the motorway and skip out Havant in the process.
Next stop, Westgate Leisure Centre.
Yeah, there we go. So now we're going straight to Chichester. So with that being said, join me back in a bit as I end up in Chichester and we wait for the next bus for the No Coastliner challenge. See you in a bit, guys. Welcome back, guys. You've just joined me now in Chichester. I've just not long got off the 725, but the one thing that I must point out is I think I must have torn a ligament in my foot, in my right foot in particular. I've sworn I've torn a ligament somehow, because I don't know whether or not you've noticed, but I'm limping about something chronic and it absolutely hurts. But I'm still here because, as you know, the old saying, the show must go on. And speaking of this show, we are waiting for a 60 into Midhurst, which is one due in about 3 minutes. Now if I get this one, however, I'm going to be stuck in Midhurst for over an hour because the Worthing bus isn't until 8:25, because there's one after that, but then that terminates at Petworth. And yeah, the 8:25 is the one that goes to, that's the first one that goes to Worthing. But speaking of which, my bus is now due in 2 minutes, so join me back in a bit and I will take you on the back or the front of that bus, depending on what one it is. See you in a bit, guys. Welcome back, guys. You've just joined me now at the front of the 60 and we're just making our way over to Midhurst. Now, I do understand that by doing this that I would have also skipped out Littlehampton as well, and Bognor Regis, because I'm going via Midhurst. So by doing that, I'm skipped out Bognor Regis and Littlehampton, and I've taken the longer approach to doing that. But it's a different route for me to go from Portsmouth to Brighton. I mean, I really enjoyed this travel on the 725 earlier. It was really interesting what I found, what went on, and I'm on my own at the moment, which is unusual, particularly with this type of bus. But yeah, so I'm on my own at the moment. But how long that will last for, I don't know. But now that I've just realised also that now that I've got this bus, an hour because my next bus isn't until 8:25, and that one will take me to Worthing. Okay. Sounds very French, but then having said that, Chichester itself is twinned with Chartres, which is in France, so Chartres. So yeah, we've got to take that into account as well. So join me back in a bit as I make my way to Midhurst, and I will see you in a bit. Welcome back, guys. You've just joined me back in Midhurst, and I'll tell you what, I'm absolutely loving this place. I've been here a few times already, but I still love it all the same. Now, I've got a bit of a choice. I've just had a look at the bus timetable, so I've got a choice. I can either get the one at 10 to 8. I can either get a one at 10 to 8 and run off down to Petworth, so you see that for the second time, or I can hang around here until 8:25 and then make my way down to Worthing, which is what I was originally going to do. But of course, I got the bus half an hour early, so either which way you look at it, I've got plans as to where I'm going to go. So I reckon, I'm just thinking I'm just going to stay here and then get the 8:25 to Worthing. But my plans will most likely change. But you'll see me on the bus either way. You'll see me on the one either way, because that's the one that runs to Worthing. And I will see you very soon. See you in a bit, guys. Welcome back, guys. You just joined me at the back of a one. And last time I was on this bus, we were making our way to Petworth when I did my Point A to B Travels video from Emsworth to Petworth. But this time, I'm pleased to announce that we're going all the way to Worthing. Now, I do need to be a bit careful because my foot is really painful. If it gets any worse, I might have to go to the hospital. But I'm hoping that's not the case. We'll just have to see what goes on. But it's alright at the moment, probably because I'm sat down. I'll just keep the tabs on it throughout the rest of the day and see what happens, and then I'll keep you updated as we go along. But apart from that, I'm doing well. I'm good. So with that being said, I think we're going to turn right, if I remember rightly, because that then takes you to Petworth. But then if you go that way as well, you also get to see Hayward's Heath. So that takes you to Hayward's Heath. It's a nice area, West Sussex. Yeah, I love it here. One of my favourite places is Chichester, and that is actually the only city in the whole of West Sussex. But join me back in a bit as I make my way into Worthing, do a bit of a short changeover as well, and then I'll see you at Worthing. See you later, guys. And welcome back, guys. You've just joined me now at Worthing for the changeover to the 23 up to Horsham, because we're still carrying on with the no Coastliner services. And I tell you what, it's been a rather interesting journey so far, even though I'm hobbling about at the moment because I'm in a lot of pain with my foot. But I definitely do need to make a day out of Worthing. It's an absolute must. I also want to check to see what the pier is doing, because I don't know whether anyone else had noticed, but Brighton now charges a toll for people to go across their pier. And I also wonder if the same thing happens with Worthing as well, because they're both the same company. So we'll soon find out if the same things happen with Worthing. But here we go. We are now in the main area of Worthing, and I'm just about to get ready to get to the next bus. So join me back in a bit as I make my way onto a 23, and I'll see you in a bit. And welcome back, guys. You just joined me at the back of a 23. No, it's not a stagecoach 23, the ones that you'd expect to see in the Hammond area going to Southsea, but this one's a Metrobus 23 going up to Crawley, and I'm going to be making my way up to Horsham, come off of Horsham, and then get the bus to Brighton. But the one thing I do need to point out at this point, well, there's a few things I need to point out at this point. Well, one of them is, well, this bus must be on hire because this is a Blue Star bus, and you wouldn't normally expect them to see. You wouldn't normally expect to see them here in Worthing. You'd normally expect to see them somewhere like Southampton, on their way up to Winchester, that part of Hampshire. But wouldn't expect to see them here in Worthing. But we're going to come off of Horsham, and then we'll just continue on. But it's also important that I know exactly where I'm getting off, because it's the first time on one of these buses, not the Blue Star, but a Metro bus. So I've been on many of these Blue Stars going around Southampton, been on them a few times. But with that being said, it's still an interesting journey, and I cannot wait to be taking you on the journey with me. Now, I've just noticed there's the first time I've seen it in Guildbourne Centre, Robert Luff makes his debut at Worthing. It must be around for a while, but it's certainly the first time I've seen it. It's interesting. But join me back in a bit as I end up at Horsham, and then we get the next bus, where the last bus in this case, to Brighton. See you in a bit, guys. Well, welcome back, guys. You've just joined me now at Horsham, and what we're going to be doing now is we're just going to be waiting for a 17 to Brighton. Now, I've not long this one, and they're only 1 hour, so I'm here for at least another 50 minutes. Just be now 11:34, and the next one's not due until 12:23. So I'll be a whole hour behind schedule, and it all depends on what time the 17 actually gets into Brighton. But it's an interesting one. I'm going to have a look around the area as well, because I've got some time now, and then we'll just take you through the bus station, and then let's see what happens from there. I'll just take you through. And I need another drink as well. Almost time for lunch. So I'll do whatever I can while I'm here. Gives me enough time to also have a look around Horsham as well, because it's the first time I've actually been here properly. So this is going to be a fun place to look at. But join me back in a bit as I then take you on the 17 down to Brighton. See you in a bit, guys. But welcome back, guys. You've just joined me now at the back of a 17, and this is the last bus that I need to take for this challenge, because it's going to Brighton. Now, the one thing that I did notice, and I've had many of those moments, particularly when I was waiting for my bus in Worthing, and that was, I was just tempted just to nip across the road and get a 700, and I was pretty close as well. But then I just thought to myself, no, this is no Coastliners, because I've done this before. You've seen me do it before. And with that being said, I'll call him back in a bit. With that being said, they see me do that because I looked at the Coastliner boundary stops, and that would have covered then Portsmouth, Havant, Southampton, ultimately Chichester, Bognor Regis, Littlehampton, Worthing and Brighton. Now I skipped out Havant by getting the 725. I also skipped out Bognor Regis and Littlehampton by getting the 60 and then the 1, because that then took me up to Midhurst and then back down to Worthing, and then I got up to Horsham, and now I'm making my way to Brighton. And I tell you what, it's one of those journeys that I've really enjoyed. Well,
17 to Brighton.
Join me back in a bit and I will be in Brighton, and we'll be able to wrap this mammoth of a journey. I just realised actually that I'd have been travelling for the best part of 7 hours. I mean, I was an hour behind schedule already because I'd missed a bus, I'd missed another 17, so I was in Horsham for about 50 minutes. Can't really complain though, it looks like a really nice place. I definitely should make a day of Horsham. But as I say, join me back in a bit and I will wrap everything up in Brighton. See you in a bit, guys. Welcome back, guys, and I can now officially say that after 8 hours and 12 minutes of me going to and fro between each of the buses that are non-Coastliner buses, I have now made it into Brighton. I'll tell you what, I absolutely love this place, really do. It's just amazing what you can see here. So I'm going to have a look around, and then I'm going to go back up to the railway station, because I said no Coastliner buses in this video. I didn't say no trains, so I'm going to get a train back home because it's going to be much quicker. So we're talking, it was 8 hours and 12 minutes, and that's including all the delays that we've had along the way. Particularly on the 17, we got held up quite a bit. There was something that was updated on the Stagecoach website saying that there were some delays along the line, and I managed to get through those. But I tell you what, this is a beautiful place, Brighton. Just can't wait to make a whole day of it, because I absolutely must make a whole day of Brighton. Now join me back in a bit and I will see you at the railway station as I get prepared to make my way back home. See you in a bit, guys. Welcome back, guys. You've just joined me now at Brighton station. Yeah, so I said no Coastliner buses in this video. I didn't say no trains, so that's exactly what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to hop on the train, change at Haven, and then we'll just work with that, and we'll be able to just. I'll be very excited to be getting on the train. I mean, 8 hours and 12 minutes on the buses, and then paired up with something like 82 minutes, if that, for the train. It's yeah, there's a stark contrast between the two, but I enjoyed it, and I'll do it all over again in a heartbeat. I really would. So anyway, join me back in a bit, and I will wrap things up on the train. See you in a bit, guys. Now, welcome back, guys. You've just joined me now on the train in Brighton, and I'm now just getting ready to wrap things up. And I tell you what, I've absolutely enjoyed this journey. It's been very interesting. I mean, what took me by surprise as well, a few things that took me by surprise. One of them was that the area of Horsham, it's a lot bigger than I thought. So it covers, so I saw 100, so for example, to Haywards Heath, and then I saw 200 that went to then Gatwick Airport, and then I've seen other buses like the 17 that came here to Brighton, and then the other 23 that went to Worthing. It's just absolutely breathtaking as to what I found. And then there, of course, there are other buses that were in between that. So I saw some buses that went to Guildford. That's better. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.